Hi guys, Sandra here of the blog withsensiblemmom.com. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be using the Cosori pressure cooker to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm using the Cosori because, as you probably guessed, the folks that work with Cosori reached out and asked me if they could send me one of their pressure cookers to try out. And of course I said yes, because this was my chance to finally try out the pressure cooker. I'm sure you guys have been hearing about them on the internet for the past 2 or 3 years, as I have. Moms everywhere love the pressure cooker. They're talking about it, they're sharing recipes, it's all over social media, and I was like, yes, this is my chance to try out a pressure cooker. So Cosori sent me one. I've been using it for probably over a month now, and I love it. And it's totally different from the air fryer. If you've been following me, you know that I recently uploaded a video on how to use an air fryer and why I love the air fryer. And I feel like the pressure cooker is totally different than the air fryer. There are certain foods that are good in the air fryer and certain foods that are good in the pressure cooker. There are some crossover foods, but for the most part, the pressure cooker does a really great job at making certain foods, and then the air fryer does a fantastic job at making other foods. So why don't we go ahead and get started with breakfast? We're gonna be making steel cut oats. Okay, so before we get started on the steel cut oats, I thought I'd really quickly introduce you to the Cosori. Here it is, and as you can see, it has a lot of different settings, which makes it very easy to use. And here's the lid. I'm gonna pop that off, and here is the inside. And this is obviously where the food goes. You take that out to clean it, and it's also dishwasher safe. And then here are all the accessories that came with the Cosori, which is really nice. So you can steam vegetables, you can measure out ingredients and all that. And then it comes with 2 seals. You only need 1 seal, which fits right inside the lid. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you can get a nice tight seal as the pressure cooker builds up pressure and all that. And then they give you an extra one for later on down the line if you need to replace your seal, which is great. And finally, they send you a lid so that you can use your pressure cooker as a slow cooker. I haven't done that just yet, but it's really nice to have that on hand. And then right here is the recipe that we're gonna be using today. It's for cinnamon oats, and it comes in this nice recipe book that's included with the Cosori. And as you can see, the recipe calls for 1 cup of steel cut oats and 4 cups of water. I'm gonna change that just a little bit and use only 3.5 cups of water because I like my steel cut oats to be a little bit on the thicker side. But other than that, I'm gonna keep the recipe the same. So let's get started. So here is 1 cup of steel cut oats and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, if you don't like this much cinnamon in your steel cut oats, feel free to just, put a few shakes in instead of the whole teaspoon. And then I've got 3.5 cups of water. I'm gonna go ahead and put all these ingredients in the Cosori and give them a stir. Steel cut oats first. Here comes the water. And finally, the cinnamon. There we go, and I gotta say that cinnamon smells so good. I love the smell of cinnamon. And now I'm gonna put the lid on, and as you can see, I put the seal in the lid and it's all secure. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get my steel cut oats started. Okay, you're gonna wanna make sure that this here on the back is set to lock, okay? And then over here, the arrow, hopefully you can see, is lined up to unlock, and now I'm gonna go ahead and lock it. There we go. All I had to do is give it a quick turn there, and now it's locked and it's ready to get started. Now it's gonna start building pressure, and once it builds pressure, it's going to cook the oatmeal, and once it's done building pressure and done pressure cooking the oatmeal, basically, it's going to beep. And once it beeps, I'm gonna let it sit for another 10 to 15 minutes so that it can finish cooking the oatmeal. And then after that, I will remove the lid. All right, our steel cut oats are done. Now I'm going to release whatever pressure is left by turning this here. there we go. And now it is safe to open the pressure cooker and eat our steel cut oats. So I'm going to go ahead and open it now. Okay, so here's what our steel cut oats look like. They look delicious, and I just gave them a stir, and they'll thicken up a little bit more, which is what I want. And now I'm going to serve these, and I'm going to enjoy some of these, and Elizabeth, my 6-year-old daughter, is going to enjoy some as well. Not everyone in our family likes steel cut oats, but the girls do, and my husband does, so these will be enjoyed. And something great, well, you can top your steel cut oats with, there's so many different toppings out there, seriously. So many different things you can put on oatmeal, I'm sure you guys know that. But we like to top ours with granola, and there's so many different kinds of granola available at the grocery store. We like to have a little chocolate in our granola. And some honey, that's good on your oats as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the bowl and top them, and then I'll show you guys what that looks like. All right, so here's what Elizabeth's bowl looks like. Are you excited to eat your steel cut oats?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good. Now here's what my bowl looks like. I've got some granola and some honey on top. And this looks so, so good. I can't wait to eat this. Okay, I have to tell you guys, these steel cut oats are amazing. I haven't had this combination of the steel cut oats with this bare naked granola. It's the cacao and cashew butter granola with honey. These are so, 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 so good. So good. All right, guys, it's time to move on to lunch. And today I'm making rice bowls using Mexican rice that I make in the pressure cooker. All right, so first off, let's go over the ingredients that you're going to need to make the rice. You will need 1 medium onion and 1 green bell pepper. Now, I've kept these large because I'm the only person in my family who likes to eat these in the rice. These are essential for flavor, but my family doesn't like green pepper and onion in their rice. So while the rice is beautifully flavored by them, I keep them large so that I can kind of navigate around them when I'm serving my family. But I will eat the green pepper and the onion in my rice because I like those things. And then over here we've got some garlic, just 1 clove of garlic that is minced or diced finely. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 cups of rice. And I've taken my rice and I let it soak in water for about 30 to 35 minutes. And then I rinsed it as well. So that's why you're seeing it kind of sitting here, kind of dripping off just a little bit, but yes, it's been soaked and rinsed. And then over here, we've got 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. You can also use chicken broth. A lot of people like to do that as well. We just like cooking with vegetable broth for the most part. And then you'll need some ground pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, and finally an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. So to get started, I've set the pressure cooker to saute for 10 minutes. And now I'm adding the oil, onion, and green pepper to the Cosori. So I'm gonna let these vegetables saute for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add in the rice and the garlic. Now I'm just going to stir everything together and let things cook until the pressure cooker is done sauteing. The pressure cooker is done sauteing, and now it's time to add in the rest of our ingredients. So we're gonna add in the vegetable broth, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, the can of tomato sauce, and finally some black pepper. Now we're going to stir up all the ingredients, put the lid on the pressure cooker, and get this cooking. Okay, now to cook this, we're going to push the rice function, and then we're going to adjust it to less low. Go ahead. And then we're going to push start. There we go, and now the Cosori is building pressure, and it's going to cook our rice. And once it's done, once it beeps, I'm just going to let it sit for about 10 minutes before I remove the lid. And then once I remove the lid, we should be ready to make our rice bowls. Okay, our rice is done. So now I'm going to release the pressure and take the lid off. And you want to be really careful whenever you're releasing pressure on the pressure cooker, because it is very hot air that's coming out and you can get burned. Okay, so let's open this now and see what our rice looks like. Looks delicious. Look at that. Oops. This is a better angle, and as you can see, our rice is nicely cooked. Looks wonderful. And now I'm going to go ahead and assemble the rice bowls, and I'll show you what I put on top and how I put them together. Okay, so for our rice bowls, we've got some lettuce here and some mozzarella cheese. If you have some good Mexican cheese like Chihuahua cheese, that would be great too, but I don't have any of that on hand. All I have is some mozzarella, so we're using that. And then some cilantro back there. Right here we've got some tomatoes, some limes, and then finally we've got some ground beef. And I just cooked this up in a big batch the other day, and I froze some of it and set it aside to use it today for the rice bowls. All right, so Elizabeth is gonna assemble her bowl first. So she's got some rice that looks really good right there. She's gonna add in some ground beef. And just excuse the vacuum right there. There's a video coming up, and I'll explain all about the vacuum in the video. I don't normally keep a vacuum on my counter, but it is brand new. And like I said, video coming soon on the vacuum. But anyway, so she's got some ground beef and some rice in there. Next, she's going to add in some cheese. And you can let your kids, you know, make their own bowls, do whatever they want, and it's just fun for the whole family. It's looking good, Elizabeth. What else do you want to put in there? Do you want to put some tomatoes in it? Oh, some lime? Okay. And lime just adds in so much, just really good flavor. It just gives, I feel like lime gives soups, rice, tacos, it's just so many different foods, just this extra pop. And it's really great. Do you want to add some tomatoes? She's been eating the tomatoes, so there was more tomatoes, but she's been eating them. And I always season my tomatoes with some Himalayan pink salt. It just helps bring out the flavor even more. So she's got some tomatoes, and then, do you want lettuce or no lettuce? No lettuce, okay. So this is Elizabeth's rice bowl. Looks really good. Just gonna add a few more tomatoes. All right, Elizabeth, go enjoy that. All right, guys, so here's my bowl. I've got rice, ground beef, lettuce, tomato, cilantro, cheese, and some lime in my bowl. And then I've also got some onion that came along with the rice. And now I'm gonna go enjoy this. All right, guys, it's time to make dinner, and today we're gonna be making this pork loin roast. This is boneless, and I'm gonna be using it to make some delicious tacos with, so I wanna be able to shred it. So I want it to be really tender, and I'm gonna cook it for a while in the Cosori pressure cooker. But before I get it started in the pressure cooker, we're gonna go ahead and season the roast. So here's what I'm going to be using to season the roast. I'm going to be using some Himalayan pink salt, garlic powder, ground pepper, soy sauce, and this is going to give it some wonderful flavor, but it's not going to overpower the roast by any means. It's really delicious with the soy sauce. And then I'm also going to add in some leftover vegetable broth. Okay, so let's get started with the seasonings. I'm not going to measure anything. I'm just going to kind of season both sides of the roast with the seasonings, and you guys can do the same if you do this recipe at home. Don't really have to measure this out. There we go. So I got the salt and the garlic powder on there. Next, I'm going to put some black pepper on here. Okay, I've got the black pepper on there, and then I'm going to just kind of put some of this soy sauce over the top of it. And now I'm going to flip the roast and season the other side. This is a big piece of meat, so I definitely want to make sure that it's well seasoned and it's delicious when it's done. More soy sauce for this side. Okay, now I'm going to flip this back over and then add in the vegetable broth. Okay, so I added in about 3/4 of a cup of vegetable broth. Now let's go ahead and get this in the pressure cooker. Okay, so I've got my pork loin roast in the pressure cooker and my lid is secure. So now I'm going to use the meat setting to cook this meat for 2 hours in the pressure cooker. So I've already got it set up here, as you can see. Got it set for 2 hours, and now I'm going to start it. There we go. So the pressure cooker has beeped, which means the pork loin roast is done. But before I open up the Cosori to check on it and see how it's doing, hopefully it's nice and tender and ready for dinner, because it's getting kind of late and we are ready to eat. Before I open the pressure cooker, I wanted to say I'm going to show you guys what I prepared for the toppings of our tacos. All right, so we've got some lime, some lettuce, some cilantro, some cheese, and some tomatoes. And now we're going to go ahead and open up the pressure cooker and check out our meat. Okay, so here is what our meat looks like. I'm going to go ahead and check it right now and just see how tender it is. I'm going to grab a fork. Okay, it's hard to keep the camera from steaming up here, but our meat is nice and tender, just the way I wanted it. So I'm going to go ahead and shred it up and get it all ready for our tacos. So as you guys can see, the meat is tender and it's just falling right apart. It's juicy, it's delicious. Of course, I already tried it and it tastes great. It's gonna work out very well in our tacos, which we are gonna be having with some corn. I've got the corn back on the stove there and I just turned it off, so it's good to go. So I'm gonna make up a plate really quick so you guys can see how everything comes together, and then we're gonna enjoy our tacos. All right, so here is my plate, and this is my plate because I've got the works on my tacos. I like everything on my tacos. I've got meat, lettuce, tomato, cilantro, cheese, and some lime. And then, as I mentioned, on the side, I've got some corn. I'm going to enjoy these. These are going to be delicious. And I'm also going to now feed the rest of my family. Well, dinner was good, and we've even got some leftovers for tomorrow, which some of my kids will enjoy for lunch. So that's fantastic. That's all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And if you want to find out more about the Cosori, be sure to check out the links down in the description box below. And also, if you have a pressure cooker, I would love to know what you like to make in your pressure cooker, what recipes you like to make in your pressure cooker, because I'm still definitely a newbie. I haven't had my pressure cooker for that long, and I know that there's a whole world of recipes out there for me to explore, so I'd love to know what you're cooking in your pressure cooker. Until next time, I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.